Hello and welcome to all of our listening delegates today. I am Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications here at Gold Learning. Well, welcome to our sit down with Ragnhild Maastrup. We are here today chatting about what life looks like in Denmark because Ragnhild is going to be with us at our Gold Neonatal Online Conference this year, 2019. I can't believe it. Ragnhild's going to be with us live here at Gold Neonatal on Monday, the 17th of June. Now, I want you all to go to the website and check out, of course, your local time, as it will be different for different time zones, so you can check it out online at our website at goldneonatal.com. But let's dive in here to chatting with Ragnhild Maastrup from Denmark. Hello, Ragnhild. It's so great to have you here today.
Hello, Fiona. It's great to be here. I'm looking so much forward to this.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And of course, one of my favorite topics as well, being an IBCLC, just like you, Ragnhild, we're very passionate about our little preterm infants and making sure that they get off to some really great starts. But, I wanted to ask you a little bit about what life looks like for you, Ragnhild, in Denmark. Perhaps you could share a little bit about where you live and what it looks like for you on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I live close to Copenhagen and close to the beach and in our little flat country, Denmark. And I have about half an hour by train to my work in Copenhagen. I work at Rigshospitalet, which it's the national hospital or the country hospital. So we have all the most specialized departments at our hospital.
Wonderful.
And I work in the NICU, the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, where I'm a clinical nurse researcher. And my topics are about preterm infants and sick infants, and about breastfeeding and skin-to-skin pain and family-centered care and involvement of the parents.
Well, of course, I'm going to love that, Ragnhild. That's one of my favorite things too. And I love having family-centered care. It's always been my passion to make sure that we're keeping focused on the whole family and working with them. Hey, perhaps you could tell me also a little bit about your work. I noticed in your bio that you're actually a part of the Nordic and Quebec working group expanding the baby-friendly hospital initiative for neonatal wards. Perhaps you can tell me a little bit how you got involved with that and what that means.
Yeah, back in 2009, we made a group from the Nordic countries, and also we had Laura Hayek from Quebec attending the group too, because we wanted to expand the 10 steps for baby-friendly hospitals initiative to the neonatal wards. And we worked for many years, and we made a draft that we presented at one conference in Uppsala in Sweden in 2012, I think. And then the original document, our final document, was launched in 2015, also at a conference in Uppsala.
Oh,
and we have a whole package with our long core document with all the evidence for the standards and recommendations. And we also have a education program or a PowerPoint show with education training, and we have a self-appraisal tool, and you can find all of them at ILCA's webpage. But if you just search Neo BFHI, then you will get some hits, and take the one for the ILCA website. You can download everything there, and when we have a little page where we require you to write your country name, and also your the place where you work. That would be interesting for us. And the only reason why we keep this site is to track the interest for the Neo BFHI.
Right.
Also, together with Laura Haig from Quebec, we made a survey of the compliance with the neo BFHI in 36 countries worldwide, and we published that last year.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
That's a big achievement, you know, because there's still a lot of struggles that we see internationally. And so the fact that you were able to collaborate and put so much together, that's so many resources, it sounds like too. That's amazing. I'm going to go check that out for sure.
yeah, and I know that your territory, or what do you call it, state, was also
Province. Yep.
your province was
Yep.
also participating in the study. So
In
it was,
Alberta.
yeah, Alberta
Yes.
was also, yeah.
Yeah, there's a very strong, I guess, thread here for NICU and neonatal, and there's been a lot of really great things that have come out of Alberta. Just coincidentally, that I happen to live here too, but it is very cool when you see the research coming out of your own province in Canada as well, which is super cool. I'm sure you're very proud of the work that you've done, and I look forward to seeing perhaps some updates too in the future, because of course this is not something that's ever going to go away. We need to keep working hard to protect our little ones in the NICU. Okay, let's move on and talk a little bit about actual practice, perhaps, Roundhill, and the vulnerability of our extremely preterm infants in the NICU today, and the lack of resources that still seem to pop up internationally. And of course, sometimes it doesn't affect, I mean, you're working in a facility where you're working hard with these families to get babies breastfeeding. We know there's a high drop-off rate with these little preterm infants. But do you have the ability to speak to other audiences, international? Um, you know, are you still changing practice where you are as well? I'm just curious about what you're seeing on that international scale because of continued efforts to still work with these preterm infants.
Yeah, I, my feeling is that this is more and more a topic of interest,
Hmm.
and that more NICUs are aware of that breastfeeding is a possibility, because way back you thought that when you had an infant in the NICU, breastfeeding was not possible and the parents wasn't there, and if you were doing a good job, you were asking the mother to pump her milk. But
Right,
today it's something completely different, because of course they are able to breastfeed. Of course we should keep mothers and babies together, and but they need support to achieve the exclusive breastfeeding.
hmm,
And I think that there are many different things that is connected with exclusive breastfeeding rates in different countries.
right.
And even in Europe, we have very large differences. And sometimes I also see, I don't know if it's verified, but I see a connection between how long maternity leave you have and
Right.
for how long the babies are exclusively breastfed.
Oh wow. It just seems endless amounts of work that we need to do still around here. And you know, I'm so passionate about, you know, what happens in our field, you know, especially from the early days of working with these little tiny infants. So I'm excited that you're going to be here. What are you hoping that the delegate who's going to be listening to your actual presentation um, will get from it? What are you hoping to share with the audience?
I hope to share that there are some practices that we could do better, or we could enhance. And even if factors in infants and mothers also contribute to the establishment of exclusive breastfeeding, there are also things that we could do that will facilitate or be a barrier for breastfeeding of the preterm infants. So I hope to give the audience some tools that they can go back and use in their
Excellent.
neonatal wards.
Excellent. Well, I think this is going to be very inspiring because I know that even if we are practicing, we've got, I mean, I think, like you said, a lot of NICUs are recognizing the importance, but sometimes statistically they don't recognize the outcomes that happen after the fact. And I know that, your determination in this field to make sure that practice is at its ultimate best really is what provides the platform for those families to be the most successful when they take on breastfeeding in that preterm. And of course we know better today the long-term outcomes. Ragnhild, you must be excited about seeing those things in research today about the fact that when we really implement early and frequent feedings and care and management in the early preterm, the outcomes are so great as well.
Yes, and I have an example from Denmark because I've done more studies in Denmark after this study that I will talk about in the presentation. And I can see in one of the neonatal wards, they shifted so they had family rooms for all the babies. So all the preterm infants would
Mm-hmm.
be in the hospital with their mother and their father in the same room as the incubator. And the uh, rates of exclusive breastfeeding at discharge, they rose extremely in that ward. And this ward is in a part of Denmark, where they are, more of them are less educated, so you would expect that there would be less breastfeeding here. But
Right.
such a strong thing that keeping mother and infant or the family together have impact on breastfeeding.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insight with us here today on this little mini interview and podcast. It's been fun chatting with you. I'm excited to hear the full presentation, of course, coming up here at Gold Neonatal. And just a quick reminder for everybody listening in today, go to the website. It's really easy, goldneonatal.com. And you can actually look at all of the presentations that we have there, including Ragnhild Maastrup, who's going to be speaking on Monday, the 17th of June for most of you. So I just make sure that you check out, of course, all your time zones. Now, we kick off this conference on June 3rd, which is also going to be a really exciting day too, as we have our opening keynote with Nicholas Embleton. And of course, that is free and open access. Anybody in the world can come and join us on that day. He's going to be talking about probiotics in the preterm infant, as well as that's such a hot topic as well. I'm excited to hear that too. Well, thank you once again to Ragnhild Maastrup for being with us here today. And of course, to all of you listening in, it's always great to have you here. And we'll look forward to chatting with you again soon. Bye-bye for now, everyone.